Three men had been stranded in the middle of the ocean for 15 terrifying days, with almost no food or fresh water left. One of them became so desperate that he scooped seawater into his hand and tried to drink it, but the captain stopped him immediately. Drinking seawater would only bring them closer to death. The captain then grabbed a pencil and drew a rough map on a life jacket. He believed the wind might eventually push them toward a nearby island, but they had no way to control the boat's direction. So he created a makeshift anchor by tying a rope to the front of the boat and connecting the other end to his life jacket before throwing it into the water. With their supplies almost gone, the three men prayed for rain. That evening, their prayers were answered. Rain began pouring down, and they desperately drank as much fresh water as they could. The next morning, they built fishing hooks using gun springs, pliers, and cotton thread, even using pieces of their bandages as bait. Soon, a fish grabbed the hook. They pulled with everything they had, but the fish escaped with both the hook and bait. Oliver refused to give up. He kept fishing under the scorching sun for hours, hoping something would bite. Then suddenly, Oliver felt something beneath the boat. He grabbed his dagger and stabbed into the water with all his strength. He thought he had damaged the boat, but he had actually struck a shark. At last, they had food. They ate the fish raw and saved the remaining meat for later. But the smell of blood quickly attracted several more sharks. They began circling the tiny boat, making the three men extremely nervous. Later, when Oliver spotted an albatross, he raised his gun, but the captain suddenly jumped into the water to avoid the shot. The sharks immediately turned toward him, forcing him to swim back as fast as he could. Just before a shark reached him, the captain managed to climb back onto the boat. Their food had restored some of their strength, so the captain cut apart his shoes and turned the soles into makeshift paddles. They hoped this would help them move towards safety, but that night a terrifying storm struck. Massive waves slammed into their tiny raft and flipped it upside down, throwing all three men into the ocean. Knowing they would die if they couldn't recover the boat, they fought against the waves and desperately pushed it back upright. Exhausted and terrified, they climbed aboard again and spent the entire night fighting to stay alive. Then, when morning finally arrived, they slowly opened their eyes, and right in front of them, there was an island.